It's just about 6:01. We'll get started. Just a quick introductions while we're waiting for more people to show up. If you have any questions, well, first off, everybody is muted. So if you have a question or something, please use the chat function. And it's being monitored by Rick Larson, and we're in communication on that. Still have more people coming up. So this is tonight's rally school is going to cover almost exclusively the Richta app. If you've run rallies before recently and used the Richta app, this will just be a little refresher for you. If you've never run a rally with this Richta app, this will show you how it will to set it up, and we'll talk a little bit about how it works on the rally. Again, use the chat if you have any questions, and we'll get started. I'm Tom Gould, the PCA's National Rally Chair and Parade Co-Chair, along with Rick Larson, who is monitoring this call. Also, the third member of our team, Beverly, who is sitting behind me here. She is probably the most important person on the team because she's the one who keeps Rick and I focused, I guess. She's the one who keeps us in line. Okay, still getting more people coming in. So hopefully all of you on this call are coming to the parade and running the TSD rally. If so, I don't. If not, you're here just for the fun of it, I guess, and learn a little bit about the Richta app. A reminder that Monday afternoon at parade on the 10th, 1:15, we have two scheduled rally schools that will cover more in-depth rallying, much more than just the app. We'll talk about rallying in general and things that might help you on rally day. They'll be at 1:15 and 2:45, 2:45 or 3 o'clock. It'll be in the schedule. It'll be in the convention center. There'll be plenty of signage, and you'll be able to find it. By the time you've gotten the parade and you've been around there for a couple of days, you'll realize how easy it is to find the convention center and all the activities that are going on. Okay. I guess we can go forward here. So tonight we're going to talk about, and yes, by the way, this is being recorded. So if you have an issue with that, you can go ahead and log off, or you can see this later also. We also have two short videos, which we're not going to show tonight, that also show how to set up your Richta app, and we'll send you links to those later in an email. So tonight we're going to primarily talk about the Richta Competitor App. This is something that came out about 4 years ago now. Developed for traditional TSD rallies. It can be used on other timed rallies. It's developed by Rich Beretta, who is an SCCA rallyist, I believe, out of the Midwest, who founded nice enough to write this and supports this, and has really changed rallying over the last few years. There's 3 related apps that go in for running a rally. They're called Rally Master, Scoreboard, and Competitor. They're all free to download. They work on Android and iOS. The one we're focusing on tonight will be the Competitor app. That's the one you will use during the parade rally to get all your scores at controls, checkpoints, restarts, etc. The Rally Master app is just for the Rally Master to set up checkpoint, restart, timing locations along the route with GPS coordinates. And it also, the Rally Master can enter the timing for the particular leg of the rally, and it automatically will do scoring for them. And all the competitors' entries during the rally will be sent automatically to the Rally Master. It's password protected. Don't bother downloading it. You can't get into it and see what we're doing with it. It's not going to do you any good. So just to let you know, this is the Rally Master app is the one the Rally Master on any event will use to set up the rally and control the rally from. Competitor app, it's for the contestants you use for the rally. You must have this downloaded and ready to use on rally day if you want to be scored on the rally. We also have we'll talk about it at the rally school in Birmingham, a short little practice rally that just is a little 4-mile, 3-mile loop around the area of the hotels that you can download the app, set it up with this practice rally, drive it, and hear how the app actually works and make sure it works on your phone. We'll talk about that in Birmingham too, and we will give you that practice rally when you do parade check-in on Sunday, the 9th, or Monday, the 10th, if you do late check-in. Third app called Scoreboard, which shows scoring for the rally by car or by score, meaning, who's got the lowest score and such like that. There's also a map on there that shows checkpoint and restart locations, as well as we can monitor contestants in real time using, well, both the Rally Master app or the Scoreboard app. We have control over who can see this app. You will be able to see the Scoreboard app when you get back to the hotel after the TSD rally on Tuesday. We don't give it to you beforehand. Otherwise, you could monitor all the other cars and see where checkpoints are along the route if you had it up and running. Okay, they're available for Android and iPhones. Your phone or device you use must be GPS enabled and preferably also a cell signal or a good Wi-Fi signal. I use a tablet and a iOS device when I run the rallies myself when I compete. My tablet is not cell phone enabled, so I actually have to hotspot it off my cell phone to make it work. The only reason you need the cell phone or Wi-Fi is to send the information back to the Rally Master for scoring. If for some reason it didn't work, it's still recording it on your phone and everything. And when you got to a Wi-Fi area or something, it would automatically send it at that point. But it is best that you use a phone that is GPS enabled, which is almost any device these days, and a phone that's active. Again, they're available Android and iOS in the App Store or whatever the Android store is. And the only one you need to download is Competitor, and you may want to download the Rally Master one. This is what they look like. This is the iOS version here with the checkpoint. The Android version, they're a little darker orange, and they don't have the little other symbol up in the left-hand top there. So once you download the Competitor app, what we'll have you do is, I should have opened this one up, but for Sunday at Parade, you'll open up if you want to go out and run a little practice rally, you open since I'm back up 1 second, since we're running both Android and iOS, they look very different on your screens. We're gonna kind of go show you the similarities and differences kind of as we go. So bear with me. There's going to be both iOS and Android information on this. So first, the iOS, all the Apple devices, you would go in and you look for the rally you're trying to open up. And the first one you'll open up in Birmingham will be Parade Practice. You hit Parade Practice and it'll automatically go to this screen on the right here on your device, and you have to enter the event password. We will give you the event password at check-in. And then once you enter the password for the event, it will go to the next screen here, which is the one on the left is when you enter the Parade Practice password. And then it'll go to the next screen where you will enter your car number. And this will be you enter your TSD car number that you get for the rally, and you will enter another password, but that is a password for your use only. Keep it simple. The reason you want to do that, it keeps somebody else from accidentally registering your car number for the rally. In case somebody just goes in and says, oh, I want to be car number 4, you can't do that. If you're car number 4 and have a password, they can't accidentally do that. I recommend just keeping it very simple, like a last name or something like that that you can readily remember in case you have to unregister your device and re-register it again. On the Android device, you'll do the same thing. You'll scroll down after you open the competitor app. You scroll down, find which rally you want to use. We're using Parade Practice tonight for the demo. Once you hit that one, it'll go to the next screen. Again, there's a place to enter the password for the event. Again, that's the one provided by the Rally Master. And then you click check password. It'll go to the next screen where you enter your car number. And again, you enter your password for your use to kind of save your number for your car number for your use on the rally. Once you've done that, it'll go to another screen where you have to enter all your information. The iOS versions here on the left, you're going to enter your class, your rally class. Please be familiar with your rally class. If it's, we're using parade classes, which are RO1, RO2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Email address is optional for this rally because we have it all that information anyway in your parade registration. Enter your driver and navigator names, and we really would like you to enter your first and last names with a slash. It makes it easier for us so we don't have to, if you just enter nicknames or Tom and Bev, it keeps us from having to go back to our master list. We have over 100 people registered on this rally. And the more information we have in the app that's correct, the easier it is for us having to avoid cross-referencing things. A rally with 10 cars is probably not as big of an issue. Enter a cell phone number. This is two things. One, main thing is so we can get a hold of you during the event if we have to. Remember, we are monitoring this event. We can monitor it real time. If we see you get off course somewhere, we can call you, find out, make sure, are you okay? Did you get lost? We can help you get back on course, things like that. If possible, use the phone that is not being used to run the competitor app so they don't interfere with each other. Yes, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. On the iOS, you hit submit info on the bottom, then it'll take you to the next screen. On the Android devices, it's the same thing, but everything's in a different order. You already entered the car number and your password. Again, you can skip your email address for this rally, enter a phone number, enter the driver navigator name, then you enter the class last. Then once you have everything entered, you will hit add, and that'll take you to the next screen. Once you have your device entered, you have all your information entered, it goes to the main screen of what you're going to be using for the rally. First thing you'll notice is in the upper right, it has a rally clock on both devices. They're the same place. That is going to be the official time for the rally and official time of day. So you really don't need any other clock. This is going to be what you can go by the whole day. You can just, if you have your phone mounted where you can see it, you always have the official time right in front of you. Make sure there's a field there called GPS accuracy on both devices. Make sure that is working. It'll fluctuate. If you're indoors, it may say 10 or 12 meters or something. It'll kind of go back and forth. When you're outside, it should get down to be, on most iOS devices, it tends to be about 4 meters is what ours tends to lock at. Our tablet tends to lock in about 2 meters. Don't worry about it. If you're in that range, you're fine, but you want to make sure your GPS is working. So once you've got that working, you will then go to settings on both the devices. Settings for the iOS devices that will be in the bottom left. On the Android device, there's the traditional three little dots on the top that you tap. It'll bring a drop down. So once you've done that, again, the iOS is on the left, the Android on the right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. There we go. That's better. Don't worry, I'm a trained professional here. Okay. Um, this has got the settings for both devices. On the iOS device, what you want to do is you want to go to the sound check. Toggle back and forth between tone and voice. The tone will just, yeah, it's that. It'll just do a tone. The voice will say something like Richta Rally App, test or something like that. You want to make sure you can hear it. You need to have your ringer on. You need to have your volume turned up, and you want to be able to hear it because it'll talk to you at all the control points during the rally. So it's important that you can hear it. On the Android device or on the right, you go to sound check, and then you can hit toggle sound to go back and forth again between the voice and the just the tone. We recommend again the voice on both devices. Once you're done with that on the Android device, just tap the screen and that menu will go away. On the iOS device, you go back, which will send you again back to the main screen. So you should be at the main screen here. Again, every time you pass a timing location, time check, restart, control, checkpoint, etc., the app will make a sound as you go past that GPS spot, and it will record your time in the display. For example, when you get to the first restart location on the day of the rally, it will be at the start where we check you in. The first thing will say restart, and it will show your time of day that you will be starting the rally. It won't show the rally clock. It shouldn't record that time on a restart. It'll tell you what time you're going to be starting the rally. Okay, you want to place the device. Hopefully you have a phone holder or a device holder that will have the display as high as possible, at least up near the top of the dash. So it has a good, strong signal. It is recommended you turn your Bluetooth off. Otherwise, it tries to connect to your phone and it just kind of wreaks havoc. It'll work correctly in the background, but the sound will not work correctly for you. Most people that have sound problems with the app where it's not working, it has to do with the Bluetooth is probably trying to connect to it in your car. It's also helpful if you turn notifications off on your device. If you're one of those that gets notifications from Facebook, Instagram, your grandkids or something through text every 5 minutes, you probably don't want those appearing on your rally app and distracting you during the event. So practice now on how you turn off notifications during the event. There's something that came up recently that we've just looking into where it's devices. I'm not sure if these are new features or they're just more robust these days, but there's settings on both types of devices where you can set screen times per app. So again, for families, people might have games where you can only use games for 2 hours a day for their kids, and after that, it shuts the thing off. The default should be that you can let an app run forever, but there was an incident recently where somebody was running the rally with the competitor app, and they got a couple hours into the competitor app, and it said you've timed out. Because something had been set up in their device where it limited their app time on these particular apps or this group of apps to 2 hours. So they got halfway through the rally and the app basically shut off. So you want to make sure you don't have any extra screen time settings in there. you have to go in and purposely do it. But you just want to make sure. We'll go over this again when you get to Birmingham, but it's something you may want to look at beforehand. If you've set up any sort of app limits, screen time limits, you may want to double check your settings for that. Sorry, this was the iOS version, kind of what it looks like. You go into settings, screen time. You have app limits are always loud, then it goes into particular apps. You want to make sure the competitor app is not marked. Okay. This is the Android thing. It's called digital well-being on the Android. You can go in and set timers on particular apps if you want. Just make sure you don't have a timer set on your competitor app. Okay. Next feature. And before I get in this one, since you now have your device set up and it's sitting on your dash on a phone holder, really you don't have to do anything with it the rest of the rally. It's going to sit up there and it's going to do its own thing. When you go to restarts, when you go past controls or something, it'll beep or it'll sound and it'll pop up with your score there and it'll tell you what the score is. You don't need to do anything. Just keep on going on the rally. Okay. Don't get hung up on the fact that there's a device sitting there monitoring you. It'll take care of itself. The only time you probably will need to touch the device if you need to do time allowances. Time allowances are there if you feel you were delayed, maybe in traffic, maybe a train. We will cross many train tracks on the parade rally, although we have yet to see a train out there. Anything just that you might be delayed with, or the other way you might use it if you were doing the speed limit, since we have to run the rally at speed, at speed limit or below. We can't ask you to go faster than the posted speed limit. You will get into a situation possibly where you have 3 or 4 local cars behind you, because of course nobody does the speed limit, especially if you're familiar with the area. You may want to pull over for 10 seconds and let these cars go past you and then get back on the route. Now, how you handle that is the TA plus button on the device. I'm pointing like you can all see me pointing at this thing. So up here in the circlet in red on both devices, a TA plus. When you press that, the first time it'll add 10 seconds to your time. So it's the same as you stopping for 10 seconds. That's kind of what it is. It adds it to your rally time. So now if you won't be late. If you come to if you get stuck, let's say at a train for 2.5 minutes, what you would do is you would keep pressing the time allowance button until it got up to 2.5 minutes. It goes in 10 seconds. In these intervals, 10 seconds, 20 seconds total, 30 seconds total. Then it starts adding a minute at a time. So the next time it'll be 1:30 total, then 2 minutes and 30 seconds total, etc., up to a maximum of, I believe it's about 19 minutes. You can use this time allowance for any reason you want to. If you need to pull over and just do anything for a couple minutes, you can add in a time allowance. If you put in too much time, you will then use the time allowance minus, which we'll get to in a second. Once you pass the next control or restart or checkpoint, the time allowances will, since you're essentially on time when you get to start the next leg, when you're out of control, the time allowances will go back to 0 at that point. So the time allowances are only for that section of the rally you were on at that time, between the start and a checkpoint. We'll go over this again more at the Birmingham rally schools. The TA, I just briefly touched on it. The TA allowance allows you to take out time if you put in too much time. If you put in 30 seconds, you pull over, let's say, and and somebody puts in 30 seconds, navigator, driver, whoever wants to put it in, but you only sat there for 20 seconds, you can press it once, 10 seconds will come out. If you added in a minute 30, or let's say 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and you only stop for a minute 30, you can press a time allowance, and it'll back out the latest thing you put in, which is a minute, which will get you back to a minute 30. You cannot go below 0 time. You cannot decide, I'm going to go real fast and just take time out. You can't do that. It won't allow you to go below 0 time. Again, we'll talk more about that in Birmingham later. Let me just look ahead here. This is more about what we're going to do at the rally school there. Restarts are going to be start of the rally or start of a rally segment, we'll call it. And each control or checkpoint will come after a restart. So you'll pull up to a location that'll be specified in the route instructions. It'll say, restart at a stop ahead sign, for example. The restart time will appear on your app as the time you should leave. We have two types of restarts we're using. Again, we're going to go over this more later at Birmingham. There's a flying restart where you pull up to the reference point. It'll clock you in, so to speak. It'll beep right there. That is telling you, okay, you're at this start. You've started this leg of the rally. And it records your time and shows it to you on the device. The one we will be using most often, we call it the top of a minute restart. And we're going to, I know there's somebody on this call that's going to say, but wait, it's 30 seconds, but it's the top of the minute restart is what we're using. Where you'll get to the reference restart time, let's say the stop ahead sign. You'll pull up there, you'll wait, you'll look at your rally clock, you'll wait for the top of a minute, 2:02 and 0 seconds. And you want to leave by yourself. You don't want to leave the same time as another car. So if there's another car there, you guys figure out who goes first, then wait another minute, and then you go. So once you leave, let's say you leave at 2:02, you'll pull forward, and about 1/10 of a mile later, or a little before that, the device will say restart and will confirm the time you left the restart. So if you leave at 2:02, you'll drive a few hundred feet down the road, and all of a sudden the app will say restart and it will say 2:02, and it confirms what time you started that leg of the rally. There was a question we got yesterday or the day before about flying restarts. At restarts, we will have you zero your odometers for we'll restart the official rally miles at that point. A flying restart doesn't mean you have to go flying by it at 30 miles an hour. Flying restart just means when you pull up to that point, you can go. So there was concern that, well, if I'm going 30 miles an hour on a flying restart and I have an old car, this is going back where you physically manually have to turn the odometer, a little knob that sets the trip odometer, or a button that physically pushes to re-zero the odometer. It's not good to do that while you're going at speed. It could, over time, it damages those. It's a well-known problem. It's been around since day one. Modern cars that have electronic things, it doesn't matter at all. And if you're running a computer rally car, like there will be a couple on this rally, and what I do on our rallies is we pull up to that start, even though it's a flying restart, and in theory, we're starting the leg right at that moment. We still have to set up our computer, zero the odometer. We have to put that restart time into our rally computer. It takes us about 10 seconds or so, maybe 15 seconds. We're sitting there and we're starting then before we actually pull forward and start the thing on a flying restart. So we're actually late on that. We did say in our general instructions there will not be a checkpoint or a control within a mile of a restart. So, you know, if you're a little bit ahead or behind at the restart, you have time to kind of let it settle down. And get to your average speed before you would possibly get to a control. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Just a kind of a couple of reminders, what to bring with you, you'll need on the day of the parade. Again, we'll do this. You will need your parade name badges. That's mandatory. It shows us two things. One, you've signed the release for the week, and also make sure we have the correct people in the car. You have to have those or you will not start the rally. You will have your TSD rally car number, which is the same one that you did during Sign Up Genius. I'll remind you about that in a second. We will actually give you a physical car number that you will put in your windshield for the rally. It'll be different than your parade number. And it's important to have it in your windshield because the photographers will be able to identify you. And also for awards, you know, they like to have a nice picture of your car. And that's the easiest way to identify you is by the rally car number. Bring pens and highlighters to mark up your instructions if you want. Make sure your phone or tablet with the competitor app is downloaded and ready. Make sure you turn off your Bluetooth, turn off notifications, have a charger in the car. Keep this app, because it's running the GPS in the background and everything, it tends to use a lot of power. And the rally is about a 4-hour rally, give or take. So it's a nice idea to have your car hooked up to a charger. We did have somebody at last year's parade rally who did not get scored on the last three legs because they ran out of power in their device. Don't let that be you. Have a device holder to, you know, safely hold your device in the car where you can read it verbally, where it's kind of in sight of, you know, the outside for GPS purposes. And if you're, yeah, if it's a nice sunny day and you're in a convertible, make sure you have hats. Somebody learned last year in Palm Springs in a Speedster, you need to have a hat. Okay. Final thoughts, again, keep your device active. Don't let it go to sleep. That doesn't mean touch it every 5 minutes. It just means keep an eye on it. If it does go to sleep, just wake it back up. It's still working in the background, but it may not tell you anything if it passes a checkpoint location. And it won't send it to us. If you wake the phone back up, it'll then tell you what you did back there if you passed a checkpoint. It keeps accurate track of where you were. It's just not communicating to you or communicating to us. We've had rallies where we're watching cars and one isn't moving. And we'll call them up and they're 20 miles down the road and we tell them, well, wake your phone up or something, because they did something like throw it in the, you know, they just weren't paying attention. And once they wake up the app, we can actually see the car move very fast on the map as it catches back up and it records all the times at the checkpoint. So it's smart enough app to, as long as it's plugged in and on, it will keep track of where you're at. If you let it go to sleep, though, it's just gonna not tell you what's going on. Use time delays, TA pluses, to keep driving speed safe. Again, you know, if you get delayed, if you pull over for any reason and you want to catch back up, don't speed to catch back up. Use time delays to keep yourself safe. Again, don't try to make the rally more complicated than it is. Even if you're a beginner, this route is written to make sure you all get to the end and have a good time. You know, nothing would please us more than to have you come back and say, hey, we had a great time. And even if you didn't do well and you come back and say you had a great time, that's our goal. You know, we don't want you to go out there for 4 hours and just feel like you're getting beat up. That's not the thing. We want you to go out, have a good drive, have a little fun, learn something if it's your first rally and get back and come back and enjoy the social afterwards. And for that thing, if you're a beginner rallyist, it's still a good idea to stick to your own instructions. Try not to follow another car. It's not necessarily a good idea because they might be, there are a lot of tours going on this week, and there are a couple of tours going on during the rally. And I know there is one tour we're going to cross paths with sometime. Don't look at them and, oh, there's some rallyists going the other way. I must be lost. Just trust your instincts, trust what you're reading. Again, it's not a hard route to follow. Don't give up. Have a problem, give us a call. Our phone numbers will be on the app. There will be an emergency number. You can actually just click on it and it will dial us if you want. And you can call us up and, I don't know, order pizza for the end, whatever you want to do. But don't give up, have fun, manage your expectations. If you're a first-time rallyist, remember you're probably competing against people that may have run a couple rallies before. You know, it's like anything. To do well, you have to practice and go out and do several events to be really good at it. But that doesn't mean you can't still compete for a trophy. Again, just go out and have fun. And I think that's it. A reminder, there's 2 TSD Rally Schools on Monday. Check the parade schedule. We'll give you the parade practice rally information at parade check-in on Sunday. We'll also remind you after the practice rally and the parade rally to unregister your device after you're done. That basically shuts it off so the app doesn't keep running in the background. We actually had people from the Palm Springs parade, we could still monitor them months later because they never turned their device off. So we'll remind you to do that. And then you can turn your Bluetooth back on and all that and go on with your regular life. We have a link to the Richta website there where you can learn a little more about his other apps too, and you can download devices. We will send out a email that also has a recording of this school, and we have 2. Yeah, we'll have this presentation, and we also have 2 short little 5-minute videos that pretty much show step by step how to set up your device. We just basically took a video of me setting up the devices. So,
questions, Tom?
Thank you. Go ahead.
I've got about 5 or 6 of them.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll try to take these in some reasonable semblance. They keep moving here. Some people have some interesting comments. Okay. One question from James? In fact, James has a couple of questions. He says, does the app show MPH, or are we relying on the car analog speedometer? In other words, the RO6 class. And as I recall, the app does not show speed. Is that correct?
It does not. The app only shows time of day and registers when you get to checkpoints, controls, restarts along the route. That's all it does. So you set it up and you basically let it go by itself.
Okay. Another question came from Jim. I'll get back to James in a second. It says, I assume we must enter R02 class to use this app. And the answer to that one's straightforward. This app is available and used by everybody. So the classes designate, usually the first couple of 0, 1, 2, and 3 are usually the more experienced rallyists and also who are running some other specialized equipment, particularly in R01. They can use anything they want. R02 and 3 use some other types of equipment. R03, as I recall, which is where I've run before, actually allows me to run with a 4-function calculator and some tables. So basically, everybody's running the app. So I hope that answers your question, Jim.
The app is mandatory, yes.
Yes, it is mandatory for running the event. Basically, we don't have any checkpoint crews out there. So this
Yes,
app basically takes care of that situation.
yes.
Sunny says, I assume unequipped is a class. Well, actually, it is. It's R06, as I recall. But we also have R05 and 4, depending on the year
Yes.
of your car. And I think that we specified that. It's also up on the parade website. It shows all the classes and the definitions 1 through 6. Uh,
Just to interrupt one sec, yes, we have the definitions on the parade website. They're in the general instructions. We'll have a copy of a parade check-in. The RO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the number designation, the short designation. Each class has a title also. Um, and then there's a definition of what that class is. We are just going to go by RO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 when you sign up. That's what we want to use.
okay, and another one just came in from Brian Hunt. It says, how do we know what we are in? That's pretty much based on what you signed up at registration. You can change that today, tomorrow, or even when you come through check-in on Sunday, June the 9th. If you want to change it after looking at the class structures or definitions and so forth, be sure and send us an email. That'd be very appreciative. It allows us to get things um, straightened out way ahead of time. It makes things easier also at the check-in table on that Sunday. Let's see. I got some other stuff. Hang on here.
While you're looking real quick, if you have a question about if you're in the right class or not, feel free to drop us an email anytime before the parade. Our email address is in the on the website.
Yes. And it's also the email address that we sent 2 emails out on already. Um, there's a question from Linda, which was good. She says, Linda Goodman says, if I still have the app loaded from last year, do I need to delete and reload? Strongly suggest. The app's been updated as I recall, but it's a nice thing to run with the latest version.
Yes, very, very good question. It has been updated um, at least once since last year. Yeah, it's always a good idea to there are no more updates planned from today on. So if you update it today, you're in good shape.
Okay. Question from back to James, and he had this. Somebody else actually brought this one up too. It says for the restart, he says resetting the odometer, is car moving or can car come to a stop for reset? Parentheses. Odo has old plastic gears.
Yep.
Right up your alley, Tom.
Yep. Here's what I do on a flying restart. The time of day, the top of the minute restart, you just pull up and leave at the top of the minute, reset everything there. On a flying restart, what you'll want to do, and we'll go over this again later at Birmingham, is stop 100 or 150 feet before you get to the reference point, zero your odometer. Um, if you're using an old mechanical odometer anyway, it's probably not going to start moving for a couple hundred feet the way those used to work. That way you're not moving when you go past the reference point. The app will not register you as starting until you pass the reference point or sign. So it's okay to stop, reset your odometer, if you have an old mechanical odometer, a couple hundred feet before you get to the restart point. And then you can just accelerate up through the restart time at that point.
Okay. The last one that I see here, unless something else keeps, and they keep rolling off my screen here. This came back from Peter. He says, for your information, the PCA Rally 2024 is open for registration. He's talking about on the competitor app. I think Tom needs to probably go out and look at that, and maybe we'll block it or something and see if anybody's registered by chance already. I do know that whole list of events that are under the competitor app that you select from, and practice rally will be one of those, as it turns out. But the PCA Parade 2024 one, I think, is up there as well. doing anything with it yet, but that will take care of the logistics of handling that. Certainly when it comes to parade and check-in itself on that Sunday, Monday, and then of course Tuesday on the day of the event. Mark Covington says "Go Owls," so that I assume that's some college thing.
Love it. Yeah. I just shut off we just had Rich just put that PCA Parade 2024 rally in there, and in the last day or two, and I have not opened it till right this now, and I've now shut off your access to it. Not that you can see anything in there, because there's no
There's nothing
information.
there.
We have not put anything into the app for the parade rally, and we can't until we get to Birmingham. We'll be there like 5 days before to set it all up. So there's nothing to look at anyway at this point.
Okay.
Um,
I appreciate the statement, Peter.
yes, thank you, Peter. And
Uh,
and just FYI, Peter, because this has come up recently, if I were to put the times in here in San Diego, they would be 2 hours off for the whole rally in Birmingham if I didn't adjust them when I got there. That ask me later how I know that.
that's a technical thing. Yeah, that just cropped up in the last week or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody?
I've got one thing I'll go on. If you have not gone into Sign Up Genius to select your start time, please do so. We'll send out probably a reminder email about that. Um, that will also dictate what your rally car number is. But please, it helps us if you go in and set pick your start time before you get to parade check-in, although we can just as easily do it there, but it's much easier if you know what time you're starting. The rally will take about 4 hours to run, so then you'll know what time you're ending. And the rally will end near within 20 minutes of the hotel also. Sign Up Genius. Our genius on Sign Up Genius would like to say something here.
So in the Sign Up Genius, it's pretty straightforward. You select a time and then you enter your information. I've had a couple of questions and understandably so. What is my car number? There is a column called location, and I can't change the name of that column, but you'll see numbers in there, 1 through 100. Whatever cell or whatever time that you select, like 741 is car number 1, and you'll see the 1 in the far left.
Location.
And under location. That's it.
That'll be your car number, yeah, in location.
Yes, thank you.
Couple of things. Mark Covington says back, "Go Owls." It's actually, he says the Rice Owls.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And the last thing I have, personal note, is if you're going to do a late check-in, in other words, if you're not going to check in on Sunday, June the 9th, and you're going to go through the late check-in process on Monday, it would be appreciated if you would drop us a line and let us know that that's what your plans are. It just makes things a little bit easier when we're setting things up at late check-in. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you all for listening to us. I hope it was helpful to everybody. Any questions? You can find the TSD Rally 2024 email address in our emails. Please contact us. We will be out there a couple days before if you get to Birmingham earlier, but we will see you all hopefully Sunday check-in at Parade. And we look forward to putting on a good event and having you all enjoy it. That is our goal. And Parade's going to be fun. Birmingham's a nice area. I think you all have a great time. So
the roads are very nice.
Yep. And then the parade staff is looking forward to making sure everybody has a great parade, regardless of what events you do. So looking forward to seeing you in Birmingham. Thank you. This one. Rick here. Let's see how many people.
Well, then, okay, I need you to do what happened to my thing.
You gonna switch spots?
Of
Yeah.
course. That's
Of course.
what we do.
And I don't see the cats.
They're downstairs asleep.
Yeah, they got treats.
Oh, okay. You bribed them, huh?
Yeah. Everybody saw us.
Yeah.
Forty.
Of course.
There's got another half a dozen.